So you might have made your brand and you might be making graphics and you might even be posting consistently, but it's feeling like the graphics you're posting, even if they are looking pretty good, just aren't converting the way that you want them to. People are liking them, they might even be saving them, but they're not getting in touch with you and purchasing from you. If that's you, I want you to consider something. Maybe there's a difference between graphics that look good and graphics that sell. Maybe creating graphics that look good and graphics that sell are actually two different things. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you on how you can close that gap, because I really would like your graphics to be working as hard as you are for your business. All right, let's dive in. So hello, welcome to another episode of the Seriously in Business podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here. My name is Jacqui, and if we haven't met before, I'm a graphic designer who loves helping everyday business owners create their own professional graphics and branding so that they can thrive in their business using programs just like Canva. And so first, let's speak to the elephant in the room of that the prettiest graphics aren't always the graphics that sell. It's actually the clearest graphics that sell, and not clear in a boring way, but maybe sometimes in a boring way. So last week we looked at that design has a job to do. Design has a purpose. We're not just designing for the sake of it. We're designing for a purpose. If you haven't yet listened to that episode, make sure you jump back and do that. And so today and this week, I want to take that a step further, because if the job of the graphic you're creating is to sell, clarity becomes a whole lot more important. Clarity can mean that someone could even be scrolling super fast through their feed, but within 2 seconds, they can look at your graphic and they can know, is this offer, is this thing for them, or is it not for them? And selling could be anything from selling a paid product or service, or it could be getting them to sign up for something for free. You're still getting them to do something, to take an action. Because when I look at what graphics are converting well in my own business and in my students' businesses, it's almost never how pretty they are, but really how strategic they are. And honestly, some of my least pretty posts are the ones that get the most traction for my business. And some people hate to hear that. And as a graphic designer, it's weird to kind of say that, but design isn't about looking pretty. Design is about strategically creating graphics that make sales, that connect with your audience. Because good graphics and strategic graphics should give your audience one thing to look at, one thing to read, and one really clear point or action that they need to take, and maybe a reason to take that action. And they're not the graphics that are trying to say 3 things at once and trying to put everything in there at once, or even the graphics that are the most beautiful. And so when you're designing a graphic, before you add another element or you add another line of text, ask yourself, does this thing that I'm adding make my message clearer, or does it just make it prettier? Because if the goal is just prettiness, it might not be worth adding. And so I want to share with you now a couple of ideas and psychological triggers and tools that you can use to help someone to stop scrolling, because everyone's brain is wired relatively similar, and we can use different tactics and tools to help people connect with our graphics. And so I'm going to share a few tools with you now. The first one is contrast. Our eyes are drawn to the biggest thing, the brightest thing, the boldest thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need something that's fluoro-colored, but it does mean you need the most important thing in your design, especially to stand out from the rest. This could be having some really dark text on a lighter color background, or some really light text on a darker color background. That's going to help your key thing to stand out more. And the important thing is that we don't want everything to stand out in your design. You'll need to pick the most important thing to stand out and add a lot of contrast to that, so that can then jump out and capture attention. You can also use the same concept of contrast with sizing. So it could be contrasting sizing between different sizing of text you have on your graphics. So you could have some really, 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 really large text contrasted with some really, really, really small text on your design. Not so small it's not readable in whatever context you've got it, but small enough that it's not fighting attention from the thing you want to make sure stands out the most. The next little tool that you might use, and you don't have to use all these tools, these are kind of pick and mix, or choose one or choose something similar to these, if not one. This isn't an exhaustive list. The second one is eye contact. Now, obviously, if you're making a video, this is really easy. Make eye contact with your camera lens. But if this is a graphic that you're making and you're putting a person on it, especially if it's you, adding in a photo of you actually looking and connecting with the camera can make a big difference on how people connect with the graphic. Our eyes, our human eyes, are always looking for other humans to connect with, especially in the age of AI. And so being able to add yourself to an image and add yourself looking to the camera in a way that people can actually see you looking at the camera is going to help you to connect and stand out more. Another tool that you could try is using bold, singular statements. So like a big line of text that's just really mostly what the graphic is about. Like this is really common in quote kind of style graphics. I do one of these once a week or so for my podcast, and I share like just a big piece of text on a graphic. There's not a ton else happening there, but it's just a bold thing that kind of helps to break the pattern from all like the really busy graphics they might be seeing around the place. Another tool that you might want to use, and again, this isn't an all the time tool, but a sometimes tool, is before and after framing. This could be an image that you're doing a before and after of, if the service or product you provide gives a before and after that's clear, or it can even be a before and after of a testimonial, like before X worked with me and then after X worked with me, like showing how you can take someone from where they were to where they might want to be and helping people put themselves in their shoes, and doing that in a visual way way as well can be really impactful. You could have two halves of a graphic that show a before and after, whether that's through text or whether that's through imagery. These aren't manipulation techniques. This is just how the human brain works, and we can work in tandem with that to help attract our audience to where they need to be paying attention to how we can help them. And understanding even just a couple of these and beginning to try them and test them in your own graphics can make a really big difference to how well something is performing if you're finding that the pretty graphics you're making aren't quite connecting yet. And as I mentioned as well, this isn't an exhaustive list, so pay attention, test, see what other people in your industry are doing, see what has worked for you in the past, and try that. Do more of that and see if it connects with your audience. Something else I want you to remember is that your graphic is just one part of the conversion sequence. Your graphic isn't the only thing of your sales sequence, of your selling strategy. People often put so much pressure on design of like, oh, my lead magnet isn't getting downloads, or my product isn't selling, or my program isn't selling. Good design is going to play a really big part in that, but it's not the only part in that process. When you put too much pressure on that, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting in your head around designing it and putting too much pressure on it and putting too much emphasis on it so that you actually can't design well, and you're going to get let down by the results. What good design should do is amplify what you're already doing. So for example, if I have really bad copy, so the text that's on my graphics that isn't actually attracting my audience or meeting them where they're at, no matter how well I design, it's not actually going to shift the needle and help someone want to purchase from me. People aren't buying because of pretty or eye-catching graphics. They're buying because the graphic helps to capture their attention, to show them that you're professional and to connect with them on a more emotional level. And then the text that they then read after your graphic has drawn them in should be the thing that then goes on to helping do the selling. And it's really important to remember then that your graphic is just one part of that sales sequence. Your graphic is just one part of the puzzle. And to remember what part of the puzzle that particular graphic is fitting in with. Last week, I chatted a lot about how you want to ask yourself, where is this graphic appearing? Who is it for? How much do they know me and like and trust me? And then creating your graphic accordingly to where it fits inside that process. So don't just post like one random graphic of your lead magnet and that's really beautiful and think, great, that'll bring in the sales, that'll bring in the downloads. It's part of the whole process, and you need to create, like I create multiple different graphics for different parts of the sales sequence, from when people are first finding out about me, when I'm warming people up, and from when I'm asking them to purchase. It's a whole sequence, and it's not just a once and done thing. It's an ongoing process, which is another reason why being able to DIY your graphics is such a great thing, because you can work in and create things as part of where you're needing them in that sequence, rather than having to hire a designer to do each different area of that whole puzzle. And so I want to give you some quick questions to ask yourself to help audit your graphics before you post them, to help them perform the best way they possibly could. So these are 4 questions to ask yourself before you post. First question I want you to ask yourself is what you're trying to say in this graphic immediately clear? I'm not saying after 10 seconds of trying to look and decipher. Immediately, can someone glance at your graphic and as the first 2 or 3 words that they're seeing, something that's going to draw them in? Next question to ask yourself, is it clear on who this graphic is for? Someone should be able to see a graphic and know if it's for them or not. Is the style attracting them? Is the context attracting them? Whatever it is, they should know if you are for them or if they should keep scrolling, because everything I post isn't for every single person in my world or in the world. I need to make sure I'm pre-qualifying people to know that. So can someone tell if this graphic is for them or not? This might be done through the style of graphic that you use, or the amount of context that you're giving, or even the written context of like, are you a virtual assistant? Then you need this course. Like, you're welcome to add that in as well. The third question I need you to ask is there a clear call to action? Does someone know the next steps they're meant to take after seeing this graphic? This doesn't always have to be in the graphic itself, but a lot of the time you're giving some sort of inkling as to what the next call to action is. And so do people know if they should follow you, if they should like this graphic, if they should share it with a friend, if they should go to the link in your bio, if they should comment X name, or if they should go here or there? What do they need to do? And don't give them too many things to do. Just give them one clear thing to do, and it will help them to know the next action to take. Because if I'm given options on what actions I should take next, I get overwhelmed. And fourth question to ask yourself is, does this graphic feel consistent to everything else I'm putting out there for my business? The answer is no, then you're going to start confusing your audience. They're going to see something one day that looks this way and see something the next day that looks totally different, and either not connect that with you or be confused on who on earth you're trying to talk to or who you're for, because there's no consistency in what anything looks like. Because we want to be building trust with your audience, not making them second guess everything. And so make sure you ask yourself those 4 questions before you post any graphic, and you're going to be able to start catching things that you might might be missing that is stopping your graphics from performing and making sales for your business. And so if these last few episodes have helped get you fired up about the power of design and what your graphics could actually be doing for your business, then your natural next step is my free masterclass if you haven't yet seen it. It's called Design Tools to 100K, and I'm going to give you 3 biggest design mistakes I'm seeing business owners making that is deteriorating their quality and eroding the trust people have in their business, as well as some Canva templates that are really powerful and simple and strategic, and a live demonstration on how to use it, plus some Canva shortcuts that are going to help to make Canva an easy place that you like to show up rather than feeling like you need to avoid it all of the time. So if you want your ticket, make sure you head to whitedeer.com.au/design masterclass, or you can hit the link in the description, or if you're watching on YouTube, scan the QR code on the screen and I will see you at that session. It's going to be really transformative for you, and I hope it's going to help you to start implementing some of the things we've been seeing and learning today. So thanks for joining me for this little series, and I'll see you next week for a brand new episode where I'm going to share with you the journey of a DIYer. I've got an interview with one of my students, and she's going to share with you a bit of her actual journey from going from not using Canva for her business and what it's been like to work with me to create her whole logo suite, her whole brand suite, and then all of her ongoing graphics for her business. So I can't wait for you to hear that episode. And then after that, we're going to be kicking off a brand new series on how you can build a brand on a budget. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.